Hi, how are you everyone? We hope that you are all doing great whenever you are. We are from Group 10 and today we are going to talk about the application of culture in HR policies and practices. Because we interview an HR employee, our information and insights will be reliable and also applicable in the workplace. Please enjoy our video. In applying the HR policies inside the organization, the HR must understand the organizational culture first in order to maintain the policies without clashing with the values inside the organization. So, what is an organizational culture? Organizational culture refers to a system of shared meaning held by members that distinguishes the organization from other organizations. In an organization, there are several types of culture framework. These types are first, the clan that based on affiliation, second, the adhocracy that based on change, third, the market that based on achievements, and fourth, the hierarchy that based on stability. We had the chance to interview an HR employee, currently working at PT Visionet Data International as a junior recruiter. We asked her mainly about how organizational culture would influence HR policies in her workplace. Based on our interview, kinship is the dominant value in the organization. It is because the age gap among the employees is not too big. Then it contributes to the kinship culture. The other reason why they value kinship in the organization is because most of the employees like to engage in an interpersonal relationship with each other. It is reflected when the employees like to help with each other's job and give the other gifts. Each division at PT Vision International doesn't have any subculture. A term refers to many cultures within an organization, typically defined by department designations and geographical separation. However, they stress the professionalism culture at their IT field branch offices, which hold an achievement oriented style. So, in order to survive in the company, the employees have to focus on manifesting the purpose of the organization. Therefore, we conclude that PT Vision International's cultural framework is the clan, because the dominant culture in this organization is kinship. This framework is human affiliation based, and there are some values such as collaboration, attachment, and trust that are respected by the employees in an organization with clan type. After talking about organizational culture, we asked about the HR policies and practices and how organizational culture affects it in PT Visionet International. Have you ever wondered what are the policies and practices that human resources do? There are four practices in total. First is the recruitment. HR has to attract candidates to apply into the organization. They are in charge of promoting the company in order to gain more employees. Organization shares the job vacancy information through social media to reach more applicant candidates. Then applicants are free to apply as long as they meet the basic requirements of the job, regardless of their preferred work culture. So it can be concluded that culture doesn't really affect the recruitment process. The second practice is the selection. After recruiting potential employees, HR needs to identify the top candidates. Who are the top candidates? Top candidates are people whose abilities, experience, and etc. matches the requirements of the job. The main factor to decide the top candidates is to which degree those candidates meet the job requirements. Culture, however, does not affect this process heavily. It can be seen during the interview process. The recruiter will ask some questions regarding work culture, but it is not heavily emphasized. For example, because this organization's culture is kinship, the recruiter will ask questions such as, are you more comfortable working alone or in groups? The answer to this question may give the recruiter some description about the preferred work culture from the candidate, but it's not the main factor or requirement to pass the selection process.
Third, training and development programs. When the employees pass the selection process, HR are responsible for their training. Through this training, employees can acquire new skills and enhance their competence. Now, does culture affect the training process? Once again, culture is not part of the training process. That means training is administered regardless of culture. This raises the question, how is it that the kinship culture became so dominant without any cultural training? Well, culture may not be socialized in a formal manner, but it can spread naturally through everyday communication. It is in the way the senior employee welcomes the newcomer, how the leader befriends their team, and how equality between employees stands. Therefore, we conclude that the kinship culture in Petavisionet International was developed through daily rituals. Lastly, HR also handles employees' performance evaluation. Evaluation can help management to make decisions about promotion, transfer, and termination. Does culture affect performance evaluation then? Unfortunately, no. The HR employee evaluates more on how well the employee work with others and how well they adjust to the environment. And so, culture doesn't heavily influence the evaluation, but it does at some point influence some job in the organization that requires team cooperation. Thus, in order to do that, they must have the kinship culture. Although culture is not much involved in HR policies and practices, keep in mind that culture is an important aspect in creating the work atmosphere. Culture has both positive and negative impacts on organization. Positively, kinship culture helps the organization to improve cohesion and attachment among employees. Kinship culture promotes affiliation, so the employees have a close relationship with each other. This increases their cohesiveness, which can also improve their work performance. Negatively, kinship culture can create social loafers. Social loafing occurs when individual contribution can't be identified on the group work. Not only that, because of the close relationship the employees have, they perceive rules as flexible. Even though culture has some negative impacts, there are ways to minimize them. One way to do that is to assess the employee's performance according to the regulation. If the situation allows flexibility, then HR can give the employee some leeways. But if the situation is bad and disturbing, the employee involved will be called to a meeting with HR to resocialize the job description. Another way to do it is to emphasize the content of the contract. HR will remind the employee about the job description that is written and agreed to in the contract. HR will also remind the employee about proper attitudes within the work environment. Other ways to minimize the negative impacts are holding a small training to help employees achieve their work target and collaborating with the head division to remind employees about their job description. In summary, work culture is not heavily emphasized in HR policies and practices within PT Visionet International. However, the presence of work culture in the company can affect the atmosphere in the workplace. In addition, although work culture has many advantages in the workplace based on our interview, in fact, work culture also has its drawback. So, a good HR employee must be able to maintain the positive effects related to work culture in the office while minimizing the negative effects from the work culture. So, that's it. What do you think about our video? Does it make you go like, "Oh wow, this is so awesome and insightful. I'm gonna like, comment, and subscribe." If yes, please do so. Thank you and have a good day, guys.